Welcome back to Life of Artists podcast, the podcast where we go beyond the spotlight and explore the journeys of artists who live, breathe, and go beyond the boundaries to do their arts. In this episode, we are joined by Edoardo Miranda, an actor, screenwriter, and a psychology student who is based in the New York City, who connects the world between the psychology and art. So let's dive into it. Welcome to Life of Artists podcast. Let me start from here. Who are you today? Who you think you describe yourself as an artist today?
Hi, Carolina.
Huh?
Thank you for having me. I am Edoardo Miranda. I am an actor, screenwriter, and I am in school to be a psychologist. What kind of psychologist is yet to be determined. But yeah, I'm into the arts and into science.
So, as you said, you're an actor. What influenced you to understand the human emotions and mental health and going into psychology?
I think as a kid, I used to go to a therapist a lot, so I'm
Mhm.
familiar with the process, with the language. So I just thought it would be something that I would be a good use for, that I would do well.
And that was like inspired by acting because, acting is very vulnerable. So that was inspired by acting, or that was like in addition to.
I think it was in addition to when I was maybe in high school, I was thinking, oh, you know what jobs could I do? And actor and psychologist were already there.
Yeah.
But then I decided to incorporate psychology into the acting after I graduated from Stella, where we both
Yes,
went
we
and where
both
we met.
went to Stella.
Yeah, yeah.
So when did that happen? Because I remember when we were in acting school, like we graduated right before the pandemic, like you before me.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah.
so how did that switch happen? Because I remember you were so passionate, like going after and chasing your dream after school.
Mhm.
So I'm just interested where this like psychology part started after school.
It started because honestly, I was scared about the idea of just okay, now you have to just earn your living only with acting. So I've done all kinds of other jobs. I was a waiter, I was a tutor, um, and then I don't know, I got scared of the idea of just doing acting and just have time go by
Yeah.
and not really have an accredited standard career. So I figured, you know what, let's try to be an actor, work as a waiter, and go to school. Then I started school at Brooklyn College, and then the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
So in a way, at first I was relieved in a way because I was thinking, okay, now I just get to focus on school. It's a sign where I get to do school remotely, and it'll just be a couple of weeks. And then it wasn't a couple of weeks.
Yeah, like 2 years. So anyway, how is your experience? Because like the acting school is very in person, and like
Mhm.
I feel like psychology is like more into like remote learning. As you said, you just worked like studied remotely.
Yeah.
So how is
Yeah.
this experience switching from like being in acting school 24/7, then going into the academics?
Um, I think there are some things in academics that I had to I had taken a bit of a break after high school, so it felt
Mhm.
like high school part two, like going back to that very formal way of learning. It was how to say, I thought it was going to be more challenging. I had this conversation with a few people that, like us, have a background not in this country. School is a little harder in other countries. Not
Mm.
to discredit American education, it's great. I'm very grateful, but a lot of the tests in college here are multiple answers. It just the way they do it. I thought it was going to be harder, and it turned out to be a little easier. Um, so no, I think I integrated. Okay, it wasn't that difficult. Now we'll see as I start my masters. How I will hold up.
So as someone who's balancing like psychology and the arts, When did you realize that a creative expression could be a meaningful part of emotional and psychological healing?
I mean, I think when people um, talk about expression, the word catharsis comes up a lot.
Yeah,
So
that's
you have a big feeling, and now it comes out, and now it's a weight off your shoulder. But that's kind of like going to a chiropractor. Like it fixes something in the moment, but then if you're not changing the processes that made that buildup occur,
fair.
then you'll just happen all over again. So then I don't know, maybe in a month you'll have to do another monologue or go back to this chiropractor. Um, but I think an important part of healing and growing is not only letting everything out and oh now I feel better, but it's also to change the narrative of certain things, recontextualize certain things, to change yourself, not to just
Mm-hmm.
have the expression. I think the expression alone is not. It's a temporary solution. But if you have an expression and then either a teacher or a psychologist or yourself, you try to change something about yourself as you produce it,
Yeah.
that's where the change happens.
Can you share a moment from your life, from your like own, because you said you went to the therapies for in your childhood.
Hmm.
Can you share the moment in your life that actually made an impact that sparked this interest going into it?
I don't know. I can't really think of one psychologist or an example from. But I think this is where the drama therapy comes into. I feel
Mhm.
like, let's say, working with Patrick
Oh
or
yeah.
like doing a Stella Adler technique
Yeah.
class was more psychotherapy for me than psychotherapy. And that's where my whole thing of, oh, let's
Oh,
blend the two, because there were some things in acting school that had a way more radical effect on me
yeah.
and helped me grow more than psychotherapy. So I think I'm going into psychotherapy or drama therapy, or psychology in general, but
Hmm.
with an attitude of, hey, there's these things that have not worked for me as a client in the past,
Yeah.
but there are these other things from other areas like acting that have.
Yeah.
So I want to go into the field, but with a perspective that comes from how some things from Stella Adler actually
Mhm.
helped me more than some things from Freud. you know.
It's very interesting. If like there's like a Stella Adler technique that was implied in Patrick class that we were talking
Yeah.
about. Do you feel like any like specific exercise was going on that helped you going through it?
I mean, I think the whole idea of actions for me was crucial because
Oh,
I got into acting
yeah.
thinking I am this sort of, um, overly emotional European young man. I'm going to go to acting school and show these Americans how many feelings I have. And then I show up and they're like, this guy's nuts.
Yeah.
What is he doing? This is
Yeah.
crazy. So
Yeah.
I thought it was all about feelings.
Yeah.
And I kind of lived my life that way. Like, how can I have more feelings for me? It's
Mm.
kind of hedonistic in a way. Like, me and my feeling. I'm gonna do acting to celebrate my feelings.
Mm.
And this whole idea of actions, you're doing psychological transitive verbs to another person to pursue an objective. It's like, wait, what? What is that? But that's actually how life works. You have to have your focus on the other person, and it has to be done in a doable way, and that's how things kind of
Close.
move forward. If you focus on your emotions, it gets stagnant,
Yeah.
and it's all about you and it's not about you. So it kind of got me out of my head. I never got that from psychotherapy. It's all about, oh, what's your relationship with your mother, and
Yeah.
you're talking, and it becomes stagnant, it becomes about emotions. And I thought doing helped me more than just thinking and talking.
Wow. I didn't have that many experiences with Patrick because, like, for me, like this like time with Patrick flew so fast. And
Mhm.
like that was our first semester. I believe, like in the first semester, I was struggling. Like, I have an accent. This is America. This is like, and like I had so many like internal battles that I had to through
Mhm.
and go through because, like, for me, like, okay, I got accepted to the great school, but then now I'm like, I have to be on the same level intellectually. Like I know in Polish how to express myself in Polish, but I was struggling with English. I was like, how I can, go through that. But
Yeah.
I think that's when you said, like, Patrick, I believe this exercise helped us discover who we are,
Hmm.
in a
Hmm.
sense, who we are as a people and what
Yeah.
we can explore within us.
Yeah. I mean, you've done the Gibran, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That felt like group therapy. Everybody just going up there and
Absolutely.
saying, "Okay, I'll tell you some very personal information right now." People were crying.
Yeah.
It was really something. But then in the same in I remember then Ron Burris, who
Hmm.
taught Patrick. We had a class with him, and he stated very clearly one day, "This is not therapy.
Yeah.
Like we're talking sort of in the same area. We're talking about the brain and emotions, and but this is not therapy. If you have psychological problems and you're doing acting to kind of get better, this is not it. This is a profession. Like we're training you to do a job. We're not here to help you. Yeah, to help you grow, because growth as an actor and growth as a human being are synonymous. Uh, but go if you have problems, go do therapy. Don't go to acting class. But in my head, I was like, I beg to differ. I think I think there's something here. Yeah.
And can you, like, what do you think are common, like, misconceptions about, like, therapy now? As you know, as you who are studying psychology, like, what do you think are misconceptions now in this world about it? Because it's very popular now. Everyone is going, or everyone is trying to get better, work on this on themselves. But what do you think there are people miscommunication, or they don't know it and they go into it?
That is difficult to answer. I think a lot of misconceptions are more perhaps they're more old school misconceptions, and people are abandoning these misconceptions. I'm not sure where we are in society about that, but the old school misconceptions, of course. Oh, you're seeing a shrink, you
Mm,
must be crazy. That we
mhm.
know that is not the case.
Yeah.
Just like it's not like if you go to the gym, it means you're weak.
Mm,
It's just you could go to the gym for so many different reasons. Um, for maintenance, for making sure, as a preventive tool as well. But I guess I don't what I see. Um, I don't know. I've been with it because I was raised in Italy. I've been with Italian psychologists and Americans,
hmm.
and I do see a difference in between. I feel back in Italy, the psychologists I had back there are more about um, very Freudian. They belong to a old school European school of thought, and I'm going to investigate you and
Yeah.
ask you very personal questions. And the American approach, again, I don't want to generalize, but from my experience, is more positive psychology.
Hmm.
Put yourself first. It's very is more positive psychology. Humanistic psychology is more reaffirm the individual with positive thoughts. And I'm not sure. I mean, there's pros and cons about both.
Hmm.
With a more, let's say, negative approach and a positive approach, but that's very cultural too. I mean, you're from Europe too.
Yeah.
In Europe, there's more of a I'm gonna break you down, and there's more of a gloomy decadence. Europe is more decadent. There's something more. American is more like, big smiles and it's gonna be okay, or
Yeah.
positive affirmation, and that transfers to the psychology, I think.
But like, I totally agree. I think, like, psychology in Europe and psychology in the United States is like different two worlds. But
Oh
they're
yeah,
both interesting to explore.
yeah,
I say,
yeah.
if you can experience those two, I think this is an amazing thing to do.
Mhm.
Because, like, you'll see two different worlds, and I think you'll get more wisdom than just, like,
Oh
staying in
yeah,
one.
yeah.
And given your background in psychology, have you noticed, like, connections between more clinical approaches to the mental health and the more creative healing practices you explored?
Mm, well, I've never conducted either therapy, and I've
Mhm.
never received drama therapy. So I've been on the receiving end as in psychotherapy. Um, I've been just kind of researching the general
Yeah.
foundation of drama therapy. So I'm not really qualified to make that cross analysis between the two. What I did see is that drama therapy is very applicable to group settings and
Mhm.
community oriented healing. So I've done research to see who are the main drama therapists. What do these people do? And a lot of them work in prisons,
Mm.
social settings, and also drama therapy is great for individuals that would not be as receptive to traditional talk therapy. So let's say people that are neurodivergent, um, people that are mute or deaf, people that would have some kind of complication in talking. Um, so yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that.
But have you ever like have you already went into practice? Like I'm not saying practice, as a clinical
Mhm.
research, but have you had experience? Because as an actor, you have experience on
Yeah.
stage, and what I'm referring to, did you went into that kind of practice already as as a professional, or like have an internship, and like what is the difference between those two worlds for you?
In Yeah, I have worked at the McLean Hospital in Massachusetts, and with a population that has substance use and
Mhm.
psychosis. So I have assisted sessions of the primary investigator who was delivering. Um, she wasn't delivering psychotherapy, but she was having sessions. She
Mm.
was having sessions with the concerned significant other of the population we were working with. So the mom or the dad or the sister of the person who has substance use and psychosis, which is a very common comorbidity. Um, and she was doing. Uh, I mean, right now the most common form of talk therapy is cognitive behavioral therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So cognitive, let's try to change how you think, maybe improve it. Behavioral, what do you do? Let's try to change, discourage behaviors we don't want, encourage behaviors we do want. She was using some of those techniques. So why are you having the thoughts that you're having, and why are you behaving the way that you do? And then something that she did do that did remind me of drama therapy was role play. They do that quite a bit. So they'll do role play in
Okay.
psychotherapy. I've never seen in Italy. None of the Italian
Okay.
psychotherapists that I went to did it, but I think Americans like it more. I'm not sure. But they do that. So, Carolina, you have a problem with your daughter. So I'm going to pretend to be your daughter. How would
Mm-hmm.
you talk? And then you stop. Okay, so like, how did you handle that exchange?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, this is a scene study class, right?
This
Because
is, yeah.
there's an objective.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so after this therapy, we have established that a doable step for you is to express to your daughter that you really care for her,
Yeah.
because we don't you haven't really done that, right? We have established. So let's pretend you're calling me, right? And you try to find a way to tell your daughter that you love her. So
Mm-hmm.
then the psychologist will say, maybe that way was a little bit passive aggressive, or um, I mean that is acting.
Yeah.
Acting. I mean, I know a misconception about acting is you're good at faking,
Mm.
you're good at lying, and it's like the opposite. It's complete is about learning how to be the most true to yourself, and what you really want to do is the opposite, complete opposite.
I agree. Absolutely. 100%. And, you're being an actress and someone who is very mindful about the mental health. How do you balance those two worlds as you?
Um, I'm in the process of figuring that out because in my head, the two professions correlate extremely positively.
Mhm.
Um, However, the lifestyles don't. So, you know this like me. What they tell actors is you have to combine acting with a flexible job.
Yeah.
You can be a waiter, you can be a tutor, anything where you can just kind of, play around in your schedule. So in psychology, yeah, I mean, can you tell your patients, yeah, I can't come at a Monday because I have an audition? How is
Mm,
that patient going to feel? If you
mm,
are the head of a lab and
mm.
and can you not go to lab because you have rehearsal? I don't think that would be very professional. So that would be the negative way to look at it, to say, no, you have to pick one. You have to do one thing and do it very well. And then what I believe is that you never know in life. It's full of exceptions.
Yeah.
And I'm not really ready to exclude one or the other.
Hmm.
I think there's a way to make it work. Just trying to stay positive, but I'm not sure of the reality of combining the two
Yeah.
is yet. I know they correlate as subjects, but then in practicality, we'll see.
What kind of advice you will give to younger people who are just finishing acting schools or just starting
Mhm.
career as a working in the entertainment and combining the tools that you learned into psychology,
Mhm.
how they can survive those tough moments where they don't have auditions, where they don't have the jobs, but they
Okay.
still have the passion.
So with my knowledge of psychology, how can somebody who is struggling in acting cope but using psychology mechanisms?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I do. So I'm not a person to I'm not a person to preach on that. I have personally been struggling with my mental health recently because
Mm.
in this career is really, you when you're on set or when you're doing a film, it seems this is the perfect thing for me. I'm so happy. And
Yeah.
then when you're not doing it and there's all of the time and effort and resources, economical, mental, spiritual, that go into it to
Yeah.
then not get the role and have to postpone other commitments, and you are afraid even to go on vacation.
Mm.
Oh, I'm gonna go on vacation and then I might have to act. That
Yeah.
is not, you know. So um I think I mean, this is true both for acting and psychology and life in general, and it's something important for me because I've learned it is to. I mean, I love the idea in Stella Adler of doability. I didn't even know that word in English. Wait,
Mm.
doability? What it? I didn't even know it was a real word. But if you have a big objective, if you want something big, you have to make it small first because you're not never gonna do the big one altogether. So take a piece of paper and write down philosophical questions about yourself. Why do I want to act? Try to even learn how to explain it. Why do I want to do what I want to do? How can I do it? Is this doable? What's in the way?
Mm.
Objective, obstacle, and that helps give me clarity because my brain can be very scattered most of the
Yeah.
time in my life. So then I am highly reliable uh, on paper, just writing everything down, and then once you see it, it's more
Mm.
clear when it's outside. So journal and write down, but make sure if you want to be an actor that you really love it, because it is too crazy of a profession to do because, oh, it's glamorous. I want to go to the party. I want attention, there,
Yeah.
or I want to. It There's so many cons. You have to do it only because if you have an itch that you can't get rid of, and for some people is sports. Some people have that with boxing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna get head concussion, but I have this itch. I love being in the ring. It's equivalent. You're going to get hit in the head as an actor. People are gonna tell you no. You're gonna waste money, a lot of money on resources. But you have to think: would my life be better or worse without this? And if the answer is it will be worse if I didn't do this, then you have to keep it and make it work around
Yeah.
other commitments, your love relationships, your family, your other means to get money. Yeah.
But you know what I learned even for myself recently? I think if you're honest with yourself and you're honest with other people
Mhm.
to go after your calling and just be honest, this is my path and I will figure it out, and just be
Mhm.
honest with everybody. Don't expect everybody to have to support you. I think because like
That
we
one.
have, I think, this mental capacity that we need support, we need validation, but you have to learn also how to do it by yourself without
Yeah.
this kind of external things going on in
Yeah.
your life.
I've met actors and they say something that is ridiculous to me. I've met actors and they say, "Oh yeah, I took a break from my regular job and I gave myself a couple of years to do acting. If I don't make it in 2 years, I'm gonna quit." And it's like, what? This is a lifestyle. It's like saying I'm gonna try to go on a diet for 2 years, and then if I'm not very skinny, I'm gonna not do the diet. Like
Mm,
it has to be a lifestyle. You either love the lifestyle or you're just gonna waste 2 years of your life, because it seems
mm,
like the goal is to I have to be on Broadway or on Netflix in
mm.
2 years, because if I'm good, I'm going to get rewarded in the next 2 years. That is just not how it works. For me, it's
But you
more
know
like
that,
being on a
yeah.
diet.
Like I feel like if you even like if the person is lucky enough to have achieved that in 2 years, that's only a spark of a second in the lifetime that you're gonna have this
Yes.
rush
Yeah.
of yes, I've made it, but then what
Hmm.
next,
Hmm.
right?
But maybe it does work for some people. Some people maybe like the idea of, oh, I was an actor once. Ah,
Mm,
man, when I was your age, I've acted too. Maybe they do it mm, to add some and that's fair enough too. But that's not the mindset of somebody. I mean, that's very categorical of me. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's fine. But at least for it wouldn't work for me. It would be too much stress. It has
mm,
to be something that you do as a lifestyle, like working out or dieting.
yeah. And my two last questions are: what are you inspired by in this season of your life, and what is next in your life? What are you excited for?
Um, I'm excited. I started working with a manager, which is very different for me because I've been my own manager for quite a while. So I'm excited to start this process of having somebody who is in my corner, not like,
Mm,
a lot of agents, they just want their fee. They'll just
yeah,
submit you.
yeah.
But a manager is more involved. They take 10%, but it's more like, how can we market you? What do you they're kind of like a psychologist. This
Mm,
man, Richard Schwartz, he's a bit of a psychologist to me, because it's more about, okay, what's the next step in your career? So really looking forward to see where things will go with him. And then I'm starting my master's in psychology, where hopefully I will have more information about the drama therapy if I
yeah,
even
we
want to
we
go
do that
there.
to the next one.
Yeah,
When you finish, we will jump back in and explore more.
yeah. So in August I'm starting a master in general psychology. So we'll see then what happens after that.
Yeah. So thank you for your time. Thank you for joining the
Thank
podcast, and I'm excited for next for you.
thank you so much, Carolina.
If this episode moved you, please don't forget to share it with your friend, and also like, subscribe, and leave the comment with the part that resonated with you the most. And I will see you in the next one. If this episode moved you, please don't forget to share it with your friend. Like, subscribe, and leave the comment with the part that resonated with you the most. And I will see you in the next one.